sir. How are you? How's the family?
Everyone, as far as I know, they're good.
Where you been? You got a nice tan
I
already.
do twice a year. I do some scrape my face for pre-cancerous stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it's not as nice as it looks, actually. You good to go?
You're the boss.
I think you're kicking off, right?
You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go. You guys good?
We're good, Dove.
Good morning, everybody, and greetings from Asbury Park. It's truly a pleasure to be here today in world-famous Asbury Park with the governor, who comes down quite frequently to start off the summer, and the governor always brings great weather, so we're going to invite him every day of the summer. So, anytime you can make it, we deeply appreciate it. Many people here today I want to acknowledge, again, Deputy Mayor Amy Quinn, Councilwoman Chapman, Councilwoman Bez Anderson. I see our assembly person is with us, Margie Donlan, and of course our great congressman from our district, Frank Pallone. Basically, that's the end of my speech, because you didn't come here to listen to me, you came to hear the best governor in the United States. So I'm turning it over to who's next.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, buddy. That's it. I'm going to be tempted to shut up and sit down after that introduction. There's not much I can say to that. John, thank you. Thanks to the members of council. It is so good to be in Asbury Park. And thank you for hosting us so graciously. I want to acknowledge again not only the mayor and members of council, deputy mayor, but also my congressman, Frank Pallone, is in the house. Margie Donlan from the 11th is with us. And two outstanding senators, Senator Paul Sarlo and Senator Michael Testa. And importantly, they represent different parties. And we've come together because this is a bipartisan passion to get our boardwalks in New Jersey to punch at their absolute highest weight. And I want to thank them from both sides of the aisle for their leadership. In that same spirit, Lou Greenwald, Bill Moen, Vin Gopal, and Vince Palestina, again, both sides of the aisle, wanted to be here today and could not be. And I want to give them a shout out as well. And by the way, John, where better to kick off Memorial Day weekend than in Asbury Park?
Nowhere.
So I've got the line for the summer here. Welcome to the Jersey Shore for the summer of 24. Every summer, families across our region, from the concrete jungles of New York City and Philadelphia to the farms of Salem and Burlington counties, flock to shore communities just like this one by the hundreds of thousands. We are grateful to welcome them every year, but this year in particular is special because in the coming months we are expecting what will be the most successful summer for the Jersey Shore ever. Our tourism industry is booming, and in many respects that is because of the leadership of my partner in government, our great Lieutenant Governor, Secretary of State Tahisha Wang. Since the very start of our administration, Tahisha has been leading New Jersey's tourism industry to new heights, including during the pandemic. And her efforts have been supported as well by another important player, the Department of Community Affairs Commissioner Jacqueline Suarez, who is similarly building upon the work of her predecessor, the one and only, the giant Lieutenant Governor Sheila Y. Oliver. And the strength of our tourism economy under their leadership is as clear as ever on a weekend like this one. So starting today, just as they have for generations, families will be coming down the shore to escape the hustle and bustle of daily life so they can unwind in a place where the only pressing decision to be made is whether to swim or sunbathe. And the spirit of this beloved place is coming alive once again as the days like today get warmer. You could see it in young couples as I was driving up here, walking down the boardwalk hand in hand, or the children running by clutching cones of melting ice cream from Cookman Creamery and other spots. And it is a spirit that most certainly comes alive in all of the concert goers returning to the Stone Ponies summer stage to rock out to their favorite Jersey bands. I will be there on June 15 to hear my buddy Jack Antonoff from Bergen County and his group, the Bleachers. And all of this summer fun takes place right here on Asbury Park's wooden Main Street, the boardwalk we are standing on today. Boardwalks like this one are the lifeblood of communities up and down the shore. They connect shoppers to the small businesses that make our beach communities so unique, and they bring families and friends together to enjoy the sunshine. And that is exactly why we need to keep this vital local infrastructure in good repair, so these boardwalks can continue serving as the backdrop for summers down the shore in the years and, importantly, decades ahead. For that very reason, last year we worked jointly with the legislature to dedicate $100 million of our state's federal American Rescue Plan funds, thank you again for being there for us, to create the Boardwalk Preservation Fund. It will help ensure that our local businesses in shore communities like Asbury Park can keep thriving, and that families can continue making memories that will last a lifetime. And this funding, which was included in our budget for the current fiscal year, could not come a moment too soon. Look no further than the looming threat of climate change, among other things, which poses a distinct and growing risk to communities like Asbury Park. We saw that 12 years ago when Superstorm Sandy destroyed much of this boardwalk and so many of the businesses along it. Today, we know these superstorms are only becoming more common, which is why investing in the resilience of our shore infrastructure is an absolute necessity. Fortunately, our local officials, like John and members of council, are already leading the way. Over the past decade, Asbury Park has replaced and reinforced about 80% of this boardwalk. And now, with $20 million in new state funding from the Boardwalk Preservation Fund, we are going to get the job done as soon as possible. So you may ask, why the rush? Because this boardwalk is the foundation that ensures Asbury Park's culture and economy, and it can remain as vibrant as ever. And with vibrance comes visitors. So to accommodate even more families traveling here to enjoy a day in the sun, our Boardwalk Preservation Fund will also support the construction of 2 new restroom facilities along Asbury Park's boardwalk, because an increase in foot traffic should not lead to longer lines. Additionally, these state dollars will further improve the experiences of shoregoers by restoring and renovating the 2 iconic buildings right behind me, Convention Hall and the Paramount Theater. And in that same spirit, we're also going to repair facilities and make improvements to other centers of community life in nearly 20 towns and cities along the Jersey Shore. From Carteret to Atlantic City to Cape May, we're going to rebuild crumbling boardwalk infrastructure, remove blight along the shoreline, and invest in making our boardwalks more accessible, creating new opportunities for every member of the family to make memories, whether it's in Asbury Park or beyond, for generations to come. I can certainly speak to the importance of that because I have my own wonderful memories of the shore, and specifically of Asbury Park, with my loved ones and with so many of you. Just last Memorial Day weekend, I visited 3 tremendous local businesses along the boardwalk: Tony's Asbury Park Boardwalk, Asbury Galleria, and The Break. I met with the owners of these businesses and their customers, the people who make Asbury Park tick. And we talked about the world-renowned performers who travel to Asbury Park to share live music with fans, especially, by the way, during the North to Shore Festival. And by the way, the North to Shore will be returning in a couple of weeks for its 2nd year in a row right here in Asbury Park. Check them out, northtoshore.com, northtoshore.com. I mentioned the bleachers. You got a lot more stuff going on in Asbury. And importantly, this festival is not the only thing drawing folks back to Asbury Park for another summer. Starting this weekend, you'll see even more parents and children playing catch on the beach, young groups of friends traveling from far and wide to explore the streets of Asbury Park and experience a little bit of rock and roll history, and you will see local business owners working hard to keep up with the demand, with hopes of one day being able to hand the keys to the family business to their kids and their grandkids. These are the scenes that are synonymous with summers down the shore, and they are the exact same scenes that I know we are all eagerly looking forward to this weekend and in the months ahead. So in closing, let me say simply, the Boardwalk Preservation Fund is so much more than a $100 million investment in the infrastructure of these communities. It's an investment in more summers, more music, and more memories to come. Once again, thank you all for everything you do to make these memories possible. And with that, please help me welcome my congressman, one of the great leaders on behalf of New Jersey and Washington, Congressman Frank Pallone.
Thank you, Governor. Let me start out, as the governor did, in promoting Asbury Park. I was in Washington yesterday, and I told everybody I was coming home for Memorial Day week, and a lot of my colleagues know that I represent the Jersey Shore, and of course they said, well, what part of the Jersey Shore do you represent? And I said, Asbury Park. And that's because people know Asbury Park because the mayor and council do such a great job, as does the governor and our assembly people and senator, in promoting this town and making the investments that are important. So that's what the governor's talking about today, the investments. And I was so proud when he announced, I guess a couple years ago, that money from the American Rescue Plan was going to be used for boardwalks and the other things associated with the boardwalk, because we need those investments here. And he obviously, being from our area, recognizes that, and that's why this is so important. But I also want to mention the state legislators too. Mention, of course, was made of our Senator Vingo Paul, Margie Donlands here, Luann Peter Paul, and the two state senators that joined us today. Because when some of the council people earlier were asking me about shore protection, anytime I come to the shore, everybody's, well, where's the sand, right? Everybody wants sand. I have to point out that even though those projects are federally funded, the only way we get them done is because the state legislature, our budget chair and others, actually give us a portion of it, right? And of course you have to do the same, also contribute as well locally. The fact of the matter is, we were talking that Asbury Park beaches look great. I don't know why, Governor, but for some reason they never seem to have a level of erosion that a lot of the other towns have.
Because of you, Frank.
I don't know if it's because of me. I don't think so. But I did want to mention that, because this is Memorial Day weekend, that we are doing surveys. We've been doing surveys over the winter to determine what areas need to be replenished. We also have an earmark that's in the federal budget, hopefully for the fiscal 25, which begins this fall, to continue those surveys, to do the design work, to do the outfalls. Some of the outfalls need to do work too. So we're working on it. I see today as sort of holistic. You're talking about the boardwalk and the investments that are being made here in Asbury, which is so important. Biggest one in the state, right? Am I not right?
Tied with Atlantic City.
Tied with Atlantic
Both
City,
20 million.
right? Which says a lot about the fact that that you guys put in a good application and that did a good job in trying to get the money. But also over Memorial Day weekend, we have to talk about beach replenishment and things in general. The last thing I also wanted to thank you, though, Governor, because I know you contacted the Secretary of Transportation and Amtrak yesterday, and and it's really terrible. I mean, the fact of the matter is that we passed not only the American Rescue Plan, which is the money for this, but also the bipartisan infrastructure bill, right? And there's a lot of money that went to Amtrak. And it's the fact of the matter is they need to upgrade things so we don't have the kind of catastrophe. Well, I don't say, maybe I say a catastrophe because nobody got hurt, but it was pretty bad because they had to stop the North Jersey coastline, which comes down to Asbury Park. But I want you to know that I'm contacting him as well as a follow-up. So thank you all, really. This is very important that we talk about all these things, and we're so fortunate to have this great weekend. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Frank. See you, man. Amen on Amtrak. And they're run by two very good people, Tony Kosher, Steve Gardner. They're good folks, but enough already. This is a disaster a couple of nights ago, and it spilled into yesterday as well. So, Frank, thank you for mentioning that, and thank you for standing up for Jersey commuters. Again, we don't get this done, this being the Boardwalk Preservation Fund, without great leadership in the legislature. We've got several folks we're going to hear from. First up, a great mayor, a great senator, and the chair of the Budget Committee in the Senate, and he's been doing that for a long time. Please help me welcome a dear friend, Paul Sarlo.
Good morning, everybody. Governor, I broke out the old-style old birds for you this
I love
morning.
it. Look at that. I get something similar.
Well, here we are in the iconic boardwalk here in Asbury Park, and we all know the history of Asbury Park and all the good songs that our friend Bruce has spoken about over the years. But I really just want to tip my hat as a local mayor to the mayor and to all of the local officials for what you're doing here. My sister just lives a few communities north of here, invested a lot of money, her and my brother-in-law, and I'm a little bit south of them. We spend a lot of time here in Asbury Park. There's some great places here, and I encourage everybody to come and spend all that extra disposable money you have right here in Asbury Park. So I just want to tip my hat as a mayor to what you guys are doing here. Place looks amazing, beach looks great, and we're here to help. We're here to help in a bipartisan manner, as the governor said. Senator Testa and I work closely on the budget committee. Been in the budget chair now for 13, 14 years. He approached me about some of the federal dollars that Congressman Pallone and the governor spoke about and said, how can we help our boardwalks, right? People around the country, when they think of boardwalks, they think of the Jersey Shore, right? And that's what I grew up in North Jersey, always thinking, when can we go to the boardwalk? So we started talking about it, and lo and behold, the governor and his team was already talking about it with EDA and his leadership and his folks, and it was a perfect marriage. The governor's office, the executive branch working in a bipartisan manner with the legislative on the budget committee, and here we are today, a significant investment in boardwalks up and down our beautiful coast. There's not much more to say about it. This is about putting our money into our communities and allowing our local elected officials run with it and ensure we get the people up here to enjoy it, right? So people can enjoy the beach, enjoy the boardwalk, enjoy the great nightlife and the bars and the restaurants, and people will continue to invest. So this is our small way of saying we're with you, Asbury Park. We're with all of our shore communities, from the north all the way down to Cape May. We stand with you and ready to serve with you to protect our oceans, to protect ourselves from climate control, but at the same time make a significant investment in our infrastructure. Thank you for allowing me to play a very small role in it, but I am so supportive of continuing to invest in our infrastructure here along the Jersey Shore. Thank you, and God bless. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Paul. Give Tanya a hug. Great stuff. Thank you, Paul, for your leadership on this and all matters related to the budget. What happened to Gary Matola? Gary, where are you? He disappeared? Where is he? He's right here. Gary, I want to give Gary Gary, that's the first time John and I have ever seen you in something other than a T-shirt. God bless you, buddy. So thanks to you and the Madison Marquette team, and I know the Pony is here, and thank you for everything you guys do. Great to be in Asbury Park. I can't say enough about the fact that this is a bipartisan effort. This is not just one party or one administration or one chamber of the legislature. This is about folks coming together in common cause. And there's no one who embodies that more than the next speaker. And please help me welcome, he's come up from all the way down from South Jersey. Please help me welcome Senator Michael Testa.
Thank you. Thank you. Greetings, Asbury Park. Mr. Mayor, you dialed up the perfect day to have this. I don't know, what line you have to the man upstairs, but you did a great job. I do want to be mindful of the fact that this is, in fact, the start of the summer. It's Memorial Day weekend. We are all going to be at the Jersey Shore, I'm sure, but we should all stop and reflect about what Memorial Day weekend is, in fact, about, and thank those individuals who paid the ultimate price so that we can live in the greatest nation the world has ever known. But that being said, nothing is more iconic in New Jersey than our boardwalks. Our Jersey Shore communities that rely on these boardwalks to be the economic engine for that short period of the year that we get to celebrate the summer, they need this necessary infrastructure. And the governor mentioned it was bipartisan. Senator Paul Sarlo mentioned it was bipartisan. And Paul, this is going to be the shortest speech I've ever given. You're going to be happy today. He does usually have to get out the gavel with me, but that's okay. Look at the day that we have. Look at what we have here on this iconic boardwalk here in Asbury Park. All of those songs written in Greetings from Asbury Park by Bruce Springsteen. We got to work together. It was actually a conversation that started during one of our budget hearings where I pulled the chairman aside and said, Senator Sarlo, we need to do this. We didn't know that this discussion was already taking place in the governor's office. And we worked together. What you're seeing here today with this $100 million Boardwalk Preservation Fund is government working together in the way it's supposed to work. Congressman, I can't thank you enough for helping secure those funds to make this possible. But without the state legislature, this would not be possible. You hear of towns like Wildwood, Seaside Heights, Asbury Park, Ocean City, Sea Isle City, North Wildwood, and all of the other various shore communities that are going to be relying on this Boardwalk Preservation Fund, this is going to go a long way. And I can tell you, this is historical legislation. And I'm so proud to have been a small part of it. I want each and every one of the individuals that comes to our Jersey Shore to understand what took place here to preserve our boardwalks. And the governor mentioned how people come from Connecticut, New York, Pennsylvania. I have to give a shout out to Cape May County. They were the first county in the United States of America to have a tourism office in a foreign country, in Canada. That's why in Cape May County you see so many individuals travel from Canada, mostly to the Wildwoods. It's really impressive. We need these boardwalks. We need these to stand for the test of time. We need to support all of our businesses on our boardwalks, and this will go a long way to preserving the Jersey Shore and making sure that New Jersey and you remain perfect together. Thank you so very much. God bless you all.
I love that, Michael. Channeling Governor Kane.
Had to.
Was with Governor Kane the other night. Michael just channeled him, which, in case you weren't connecting history. I'll tell you something else I'm proud of. Michael and his team, the mayor in North Wildwood, and our team came together. They have had horrific beach erosion in North Wildwood. Not the only community that's had it, but they've had it, I think, among the worst. And we came together and said, enough already. Let's stop being at loggerheads about how to solve this. Let's do it together. And thank God that is in train. And I want to thank you, Michael, for that.
I can't thank you enough, Governor.
God bless you. Okay, last but not least, we got to hear from a hometown legislator. She's someone I've gotten to know over the years as a council person, as a candidate, and now as an outstanding member of the Assembly. Please help me welcome Dr. Margie Donelon. Margie? Come on down.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here on such a beautiful day. I actually came to New Jersey as a tourist in search of waves. I was a surfer. I am a surfer. And drove down the shore, found my waves in Manasquan and Loch Arbor, and never left. I met my husband out here surfing, and I know what an amazing tourist destination this is, but also what a great resource for our residents here in New Jersey to come and escape the hustle and bustle of daily life. I am so proud to be here today because our district received some significant boardwalk funding from the $100 million Preservation Fund grant, which was given to 18 municipalities, 3 of which are here in Legislative District 11, Asbury Park, Borough of Bradley Beach, and the City of Long Branch. The towns receiving the grants based on legislation that Senator Vin Gopal sponsored and championed in 2023. This funding will help shore communities make long-term investments in state-of-the-art materials that increase storm resiliency and ensure critical boardwalk infrastructure to last longer. Shore tourism is an integral part of our coastal economy, and tourism revolves around our boardwalks. So this Memorial Day weekend, I'm going to end with a little surf report. Right now, the waves are pretty small, about 1 to 2 feet. The wind is just perfect. I think we have to wait for the tide to drop, so bring your longboard, bring your wetsuit because the water is still cold. But let's all get out there and have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Thank you.
I love that, Margie. Margie, you going to surf this weekend? Absolutely. Did you hear that? So as they say in Hollywood, it's a wrap. I want to thank the mayor, members of council, Frank Pallone, Paul Sarlo, Michael Tester, Margie Donelon, and to each and every one of you. Here's to the summer of 24 on the Jersey Shore. God bless y'all. Thank you.
What do you got? Next weekend, relaxing? Yeah. Mayor. Absolutely. We're here. Thank you so much. Spent a lot of time up here. No, this is